Okay, so this right here, um, I was gonna do, hold on, let me do this other one. Um, this other short story. Okay, so this other short story that I'm gonna do is called "Not a Deadbeat Wife." So Gunner is the abusive husband, Skylee, the battered wife, Zaina, Skylee's homeless friend, Brooke, Skylee's messy sister. So on a night of Thursday, September 3rd, 2020, Skylee had the last fight with her husband Gunner and left the 7 kids behind and looked for a homeless shelter, and there was no shelter, nothing available. So she saw Zaina hanging out, sleeping by a private sleep spot on the streets in Miami by Aldi's store. Um, Zaina had just gotten her Social Security check, but wasn't going to spend it on a hotel room because she felt dreadful and wanted to avoid having to panhandle and beg. I guess y'all know who Zaina is, huh? Me. But the story is kind of slight. You know, this didn't happen in real life, but it's a fiction story, you know, based on, my life or whatever, plus a few other people. I put myself as the Zaina character. So, um, Skylee walks up to Zaina and looks lost. She asks Zaina what she's doing out on the streets by herself. Then they start talking. They exchange telling stories about their homeless situation, and then Skylee asks Zaina if it's okay to sleep by her. Zaina said yes, but normally, no, not me. No, I'd rather be by myself. So, Zaina spreads out her sleeping bag so that they both can sleep on each end. It was hot outside that night. She lent Skylee one of her 2 bed sheets to cover up with. Despite the hell that Skylee went through with Gunner, she slept soundly and like a baby for at least 5 hours. Zaina was suffering sleep deprivation and feeling her body vibrating from the torture of the directed energy weapons. Then 13 red loud motorcycles passed by back and forth 33 times. Zaina counted and said, "This is insane." Her phone battery was unfortunately too low to film anything because she didn't get to charge it up. The next morning, the 2 women wake up and pack up and leave the sleep spot and then go to Puro's Coffee to get breakfast. Skylee had no money. She stepped off somewhere to go puke, splattering her guts out. Then she realized, oh shit, I hope I'm not pregnant again. Zaina panicked and thought she was going to need to call the paramedics for Skylee. So Zaina used the first spending of her Social Security check to treat Skylee for breakfast. Skylee was afraid the whole time because of fear that her abusive stalker husband Gunner would find her. She was tense and anxious the whole time. After eating breakfast, they both talked while charging their phones. And then Skylee started telling Zaina more about the fight the night before. Zaina said, "Skylee, Gunner sounds like a narcissistic abuser and gang stalking perpetrator. Do you think you're a targeted individual?" "No, what's that?" replied Skylee. Then Zaina went on to explain the program. Skylee said that she experienced a lot of abuse since childhood, and both Skylee and Zaina experienced a lot, especially a lot in common. They have so much in common, despite being approximately 5 years age difference. After a while, Zaina had Skylee come with her on the bus to get her to her storage unit. So many vehicles with one headlight and brighter lights. Then Zaina pointed them out. Skylee said, "I was wondering why people drive near me with one or awkward headlights. Then Zaina shared some of her belongings, including an extra sleeping bag with Skylie, because all Skylie had was the clothes on her back, her purse, and a Bible from Dollar Tree that she carries around. Then she was afraid of Gunnar possibly showing up to Zaina's storage unit. After that, they went to the library and then to the mall. Then back to the sleep spot. Guess who was there at the sleep spot before the two women got there? Gunnar! Then Skylie started to run off, but then came back because she was so exhausted and tired from ripping and running all day with Zaina. Then Gunnar confronts Skylar about leaving all 7 kids behind, and she admitted to him that it was because she was sick of the abuse. He told her, now, wait, hold on. Wait, oh, now, don't think I don't know that you're pregnant. What? Oh, wait, no. Now, don't think I don't know that you're pregnant. What, you've been sleeping with another dude, huh? Answer me, girl. Then Skylar was super quiet for a long time, trying to avoid confrontation. She just found out on September 4, 2020, that not only is she a targeted individual being gang stalked and attacked with directed energy weapons, but also realized that she's a victim of narcissistic abuse. So then Gunnar started to bully, harass, and lecture Skylie about abandoning the kids, and he started to scream at her and get all in her face, and then started to play all kinds of psychological and mental games with her. Then he started to tongue kiss her, and then act fake friendly, and then try to forcefully order both of the women to get in his car and go to their, which means, Gunnar and Skylie's house. And then pretended to fake care, artificially fake care about Zaina and Skylie's safety, welfare, and well-being. He added Zaina to the list of narcissists to apply and figured that he thinks he can more easily manipulate and control Zaina because he perceives that Zaina is mentally slow. Zaina is college educated and disabled, but not slow. So he got the 2 women in the car and then drove them to the house, faking like he overly cares about them. Skylie and Gunnar were arguing in the car the whole time. Then Zaina was constantly afraid that Gunnar was going to hit Skylie. They arrived at this big 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 2-story house with an indoor gym room and an outdoor pool with a diving board and jacuzzi. Pool is 17 feet deep. Also a garden, fruit trees, a kiddie pool, and a patio. They get into the house arguing. Then Skylie's sister Brooke jumps in because Gunnar cheated on Skylie with her own sister, Brooke. And that's what the argument was about in the other night. First off, Brooke got an attitude with Zaina and rolled her eyes for no reason and had this look like she was looking down on Zaina, like she thinks she's better than Zaina for no reason. That's how you know that Brooke is a perp. Perping both Zaina and Skylie. So, Gunnar and Brooke ganged up on Skylie and gaslit her about the affair, denied it, and then called Skylie crazy, and then threatened to have Skylie locked up in a mental institution. Then they threatened to report Skylie for neglect when Skylie was just trying to escape abuse. Skylie felt that the 7 kids would be protected by their grandmother. The kids were asleep and then were awakened to Gunnar, Brooke, and Skylie's heated argument. Gunnar falsely accused Skylie of losing her mind for running away from that expensive fancy house to the streets, trying to escape abuse. Excuse me. After that, Gunnar started pushing Skylie, and then Skylie tried to defend herself, and then he played victim and lied and said that Skylie hit him first. Then Gunnar kept repeatedly slapping and punching Skylie in the face, and then choked her, rough-handled, and restrained her when she tried to defend herself. Then he choked her again and yelled, saying, "I'm sick and tired of you lying on me, little girl." Skylar was telling the truth and exposing her own abuse. Brooke, so this was written like September 3rd or somewhere around there. September 2nd. When was this written? Yeah, I think it was written September 2nd or 3rd. Kind of reminds me of what I'm going through now. Okay. So, Skylar was telling the truth and exposing her own abuse. Brooke was giggling the whole time while Zaina was having a panic attack because she didn't know what to do. Being targeted, the cops don't believe TIs targeted individuals. And the abused, this should have been a different paragraph. And the abused victim targeted individual will go to jail and not the abusive perp. The kids were crying and begging Gunner to stop. Then Gunner tried to trap Zaina and Skylie inside the house and wouldn't let them leave. They waited until everyone was asleep to escape the house, and then they took a long walk and talked all night, and then found an alternative sleep spot behind an alley. Yuck. After that, they prayed and read the Bible together and even prayed for the kids, and then used Zaina's money for both of them to elope to Macon, Georgia. Zaina went broke, paying for a Greyhound bus ticket for both of them. Then they met a new female friend, coincidentally named Georgia, on the Greyhound bus to talk to, and Georgia sent them to a homeless shelter in Atlanta. And then Skylie told the shelter case manager about the situation and somehow was able to get all 7 kids up to Atlanta. The first day, a bossy, abusive bully perp named Janine lied and said that Skylie punched her son and Stanley. And then CPS/DFCS came and got the kids and took them away. The kids were terrified and traumatized because they loved their mom dearly. After that, Skylie had an emotional meltdown. Who wouldn't over their children? And then Gunner found a way to get a hold of the shelter people. And then he told them to keep a close watch on her. And then he over-exaggerated and lied and said that Skylie was a suicide risk when Skylie has never been suicidal. And then they locked her up in a mental institution against her will without her being allowed to explain herself. Plus, they put a false child abuse and assault and battery charge on her. Skylie would never hit her kids. Then after that, Zaina was left to fend for herself at the shelter with no companion. The end. So, again, I'm reading this. Hello, everyone. My name is Candy Grand Prix. I'm a single homeless female targeted individual, victim of organized gang stalking and electronic harassment, living on the streets. Well, now in the the cheap hotel room. Also a rape survivor and victim of cult and narcissistic abuse. I'm a new author. I recently hired myself as my own boss since I'm disabled and blacklisted and no one wants to hire me. This is my favorite job. Pardon me because I suffer chronic and severe sleep deprivation. I tried my best. I also had 2 strokes at age 5. I love you. Thank you for the support. Also, no obligation, but please help me get back on my feet by donating any amount you choose. You don't have to donate anything if you don't want to. Even if you just read the short story and donated $0, that's okay. I appreciate any help. Please spread the word. So yes, this was written on September 2nd, 2020. Thanks for the support and thanks for listening, and bye-bye.